What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more video game music, and we're back with another 8-bit tune, which is to say we're going to listen to a track from the Nintendo or NES version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's a lot of different Turtles games. The one I remember playing the most was the 4-player arcade game, where you'd go through the sewers, all sorts of different levels, but it was basically like a go to the right and beat people up kind of game. I think it was a Konami game, am I right there? I don't know about that. But yeah, that's the one I played the most, but I did play some of the console games, and of the console games, this is the first one I played. And yeah, I think it's pretty famous for being difficult. It's funny that when I was thinking about what track I wanted to react to first, it was like, oh wait, well there's only one that could possibly be the case, and that's River. And the reason River is the track is because, I don't know if it's about halfway through the game, but there's a stage or level about halfway through the game, I think, where you have to disarm these bombs that are going to blow up this dam, and you have to go underwater to do it. And number one, you can't stay underwater for a whole lot of time, so you're on a time limit. And also there's this like electric algae, I don't remember exactly what it's supposed to be, but you can't touch it or it hurts your turtle. And so yeah, it's like this really difficult level, and I remember as a kid getting very frustrated at the level and eventually like, I'm not going to play this right now. Now, over time, I did beat it a few times, and I remember getting to the Technodrome a couple times, and I never beat it. So yeah, it's not a game that I beat as a kid back in the day. It's weird, the soundtrack, and I noticed like there's like a PC or like a computer version of the game, the soundtrack was done by someone different there, but the soundtrack for the NES game is done by Funahashi Jun, and it's interesting because most of the soundtrack is like this groovy, funky rock sort of sound, but this track is this, I don't know, it's this intense, it's sort of ambient, but it's very intense, and it's like this big wall of sound. And I remember when I played the level thinking, man, this is a cool tune, but you don't really have time to like sit and just enjoy it, because again, you're on a time limit, and you got to try to, very carefully and narrowly avoid all these stage hazards. So yeah, it's a tune that I was happy in later years when I started looking for video game music that I was able to find this soundtrack. Because again, I think it's different than most of the other soundtracks, most of the other soundtrack, singular. And I think it's probably the best tune on the soundtrack. So let's listen. This is River by Funahashi Jun on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles soundtrack from the NES game, which I believe is it 86? Let me look. Oh, 89. It was later than I was thinking. But yeah, 1989, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Funahashi Jun, and it's called River. Got a bit of funk in this one. That layer is my favorite part, fair to say. And it's interesting how that became sort of standard. I've noticed that I've started to do these reactions to video game music. Almost always it's 2 run-throughs. They do 2 run-throughs of the loop and then they fade it. So It makes sense, right? Like you hear it, and get a chance to hear it again. Like I think that's the right approach. But yeah, like I said, a difficult level, a difficult game, one I never beat back in the day. Is it on the? I have the NES Mini. I'm trying to remember if it's on there. If it is, I should give it another go because essentially you have save state with the NES Mini, so you can save it after beating a difficult jump or getting through a difficult hallway without getting hit too much. So you can essentially beat the game in parts where back in the day you couldn't really do that. So yeah, bottom line, may need to go back and play the game again. But as I said, always a difficult game, but one that I remember the music from very clearly, and so. It was one of those things where like I enjoyed playing it because the music was very atmospheric and put me in the mood, but then it was like, damn it, unlike a lot of other games, I can't beat this one. So in any case, let me know what you think of this. I will see you next time. Peace.